Extra practice. First one, solve for y 5x plus 3y equals 15. We have 5x plus 3y equals 15. We want to solve for y. So our goal is y equals something. Okay, the first thing to do here is move over this 5x. 3 times y, these two are kind of together, so we'll have to undo that part last. But let's start by subtracting 5x from each side. 5x minus 5x cancels, and we get 3y equals 15 minus 5x. Write them side by side. Since I want y alone, I need to divide everything by 3. So 3 divided by 3, that's gone, and it's just y equals 15 minus 5x. Everything is divided by 3. So be careful on this one. 15 divided by 3, I can actually do that. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And negative 5x divided by 3 is just negative 5x divided by 3. So there's your answer, or you might see it written in slope intercept form. This is kind of nice because look, here's the slope and here's the y-intercepts. Number 2, solve for x. 5x plus 3y equals 15. We're solving for x this time. So that means at the end of the day, we should have x equals something. Alright, so the first thing to do is let's move over the 3y. So subtract 3y from each side. That'll cancel. And all that's left is 5x equals 15 minus 3y. To get x alone, divide both sides by 5, and we get x equals 15 minus 3y all over 5. Now again, be careful because we can do this. 15 divided by 5 is 3, and then negative 3y divided by 5 is just minus 3y divided by 5. Doesn't divide evenly, so you leave it as a fraction. Okay, number 3. Solve for w. 2L plus 2W equals P. Alright, so what we're going to do here is move over the 2L and then divide by 2, right? We want to be having something like w equals something else, since we're solving for w. So step 1, subtract 2l from each side, and we get 2w equals b minus 2l. Then divide both sides by 2. To get w equals p minus 2l divided by 2. Now be careful here because look, we can do 2l divided by 2. That can be simplified. So we have p divided by 2 minus 2l divided by 2. Oops. Which is just minus L. 2 divided by 2 cancels for that term. So let me rewrite that because I made a typo. Here's our answer. Number 4. Solve for m. 4n minus 3m. I'm sorry, 4n equals 3m minus 1. we're solving for m, so our goal is m equals something. Alright, so we want to make m alone. Let's start by getting the 1 on the other side. Let's add 1 to each side. So we have 3m equals 4n plus 1. Now to get m alone, you need to divide by the number in front of m. So divide both sides by 3. So m is equal to 4n plus 1 over 3, and 3 doesn't go evenly into 4 or 1, so I think I'm going to leave this one as is. There's no way to simplify it. Number 5, solve for a. So we have 2a plus b equals c to start with, and then at the end of the day, we want a equals something because we're solving for a. Alright, to make a alone, we need to undo that addition by b first. So let's subtract b on each side. Positive b minus b cancels, and all I'm left with is 2a equals c minus b. Make sure you write them side by side. C minus b and then divide everything by 2. And a is equal to c minus b over 2. Now since 2 doesn't go into c or b, you can't really simplify this, so you can leave your answer like that. Number 6, solve for a. b minus 2a equals c. Since we're solving for a, we'll start here and we'll finish. Our answer will be a equals something. Alright, so for this one, there's a couple ways to do this. I have a positive b, subtract 2a equals c. So one way to do it would be take away b on each side. b minus b cancels, and be careful, this minus sign belongs to the 2a. So we have negative 2a equals c subtract b. And then divide by the number in front of a. Divide both sides by negative 2. And a is equal to c minus b over negative 2. So another way you could write this is, see this negative 2 on the bottom? You could move that to the top of the fraction, move that negative sign. So instead of having negative 2 on the bottom, you have a positive 2. A negative sign moves up to the top of the fraction to compensate. And then you would have to distribute or apply the negative sign to each term. So you'd get negative c plus b over 2. And I think our answer key had these written in reverse order. Instead of negative c plus b, they wrote it as b minus c over 2. That's why the answer key said that. Alright, number 7. Solve for p. This one looks ugly. Let's do it. Since we're solving for p, our goal is p equals something. Step 1, distribute. I see parentheses. Don't forget about PEMDAS. Always try to clear the parentheses first if you can. That's why p comes first. distribute that negative 2. It's tempting to do 6 minus 2 and put 4, but that's wrong because subtraction is actually last thing you should do. So it's 6 minus 2q, and then negative 2 times negative 3p. We have a negative times a negative, so that's a positive or plus 6p. 2 times 3 is 6. So distribute that negative 2, that was a tricky one. Here's what you get, all equal to 4p. Okay, so we've got a p on each side. That's something new. Let's start moving these terms that are not p over to the right hand side. For example, let's add 2q to each side. So we have 6 left over. 6 plus 6p equals 4p plus 2q, not like terms, so write them side by side. And then let's move over the 6 also, move the 6 over. Alright, so we have a minus 6 at the end. Now we have a p on each side. When this happens, what you do is you pick the smaller one, in this case that one, and let's move this to the left hand side. Let's subtract 4p from each side. On the right, it cancels. On the left, 6p minus 4p is 2p equals 2q minus 6. Final step. Divide everything by 2. On the left, all you have left over is p. On the right, 2q divided by 2 is just q, minus 6 divided by 2 is just 3. Number 8, solve for x. I forgot to write this one. Okay, so right away I see a fraction. So think fraction busters here. Since we're solving for x, we're going to want to have our answer x equals something. Alright, so we have a fraction. There's a 4 on the bottom, so let's multiply everything by 4. 4 times y is just 4y. On the right hand side of the equal sign, distribute the 4. 4 times a fourth, that's 4 times 1 on the top of the fraction. Right, you multiply the number to the top of the fraction, so 4 times 1 is 4, all over 4, x plus 4 times 1 is 4. Alright, 4 divided by 4 is 1. You can simplify that, so this is 4y equals 1x plus 4. We want to get x alone. We want to solve for x. So let's take away 4 from each side. This is 4y minus 4 equals x is the same thing as 1x. So we're actually done. This is it. X equals 4y minus 4. Number 9. Alright. Hopefully I have some space here. Okay, so solve for r. You should be thinking right away, distribute. Get rid of the parentheses. So let's distribute that 4. We get 4r minus 4 times 3s is 12s equals r minus 5s. Whoops, and I'm solving for r. So my goal is r equals something. Okay, so I have an r on both sides. So typically what you do is you pick the smaller r and you get rid of it. You subtract it in this case. Positive r minus r cancels. And over here we have 4r minus r, which is 3r minus 12s equals, this negative sign is still there, negative 5s. Okay, now let's make r alone. Let's move over the negative 12s. Add 12s to each side. Negative 5s plus 12s. That's the same thing as 12s minus 5s, which is just 7s. To get r by itself, divide both sides by 3. So r is equal to 7s over 3. And that is the end of the extra optional practice.